If you come from a dysfunctional family, you come and realize they dissociate from reality to function. A dysfunctional family has to dissociate from reality to function. And every member in that family has to dissociate from reality. There might be abuse, there might be chaos, there might be secrets, there might be betrayal, emotional neglect, as in name them, but no one is going to talk about that shit. You know, everyone is going to pretend like everything is okay. So you dissociate from reality so that to cope, you know. And there are two main characters that come from a dysfunctional family. This is the golden child and the scapegoat child. You know, the golden child has mastered to dissociate from reality, and they have mastered to turn their anxious response. They've mastered to turn their traumatic environment into achievement. In fact, for most golden children, they associate love and acceptance to achievement. If they're not achieving, then they're letting down their family. Basically, they live for their parents. That's why, to their parents, they are the golden child. Now they have all that burden that they are going to take for their parents. But anyway, today we are not going to talk about the golden child. I'm going to talk about the golden child on its own day. Today I want to talk about the scapegoat. Now, for the scapegoat, this is the representation. This is the response. The scapegoat is the direct response to the dysfunctionality of that environment. The scapegoat is the mirror of the dysfunction. But now, the scapegoat is always alienated. They always struggle to accept everything is okay. You know, the scapegoat will always speak, will always talk about the struggles in the family. They don't want to dissociate with reality. Like, they know this shit ain't working out. Like, they know this is what is happening. Why are we not talking about this? They know this is happening. Why are we not talking about this? And since the family doesn't want, it's a dysfunctional family. Since it doesn't, no one wants to take accountability in that dysfunctional environment. What does it do? That's where the alienation comes. Now, either this scapegoat, in the alienation, this scapegoat is going to be diagnosed with either a mental issue. And most of the time you'll see the scapegoat either struggling with alcoholism, you know, drug abuse, attentional disorders, you know, things like ADHD. I mean, the scapegoat will always be that problem child. They'll always be like, to the family, they always seem as the most troublesome child. And the issue, if the family ends up looking at them as, you know, the main problem, like, you are the problem. The family is not the problem. You are the problem. You know, the family has normalized that, hey, you know what, these things that are happening in the family need to remain in the family. So no one wants to talk about that shit. If you talk about it, you're going to know that's what family is. You know, that's what family is. But when this scapegoat talks about it, it's like, now you want to cause trouble in the family. You want to cause issues in the family. And this is because no one in that dysfunctional family wants to take accountability. So the scapegoat now comes out as actually the real problem. Can you imagine growing up being made to feel like a problem rather than a response to an unhealthy environment? You know, you end up being taken to maybe therapy. You end up being taken to mental hospitals. You end up, you're now being treated like an egg. You're now being treated like a victim instead of people actually dealing with this unhealthy environment, instead of people actually looking within and dealing with the dysfunctional system. So now this scapegoat, this is the person now we will all look as the problem of the family. No one wants to look as the family as the family. This is the mirror of what the family is. We are all dysfunction. Remember, dissociation in the dysfunctional family. We are all there dissociating from reality. So no one wants to deal with that reality. When you are dealing with the reality, then you are going to interfere with this with our system. It has been normalized now. This dysfunction is okay, but the dysfunction is not okay. This dysfunction is causing harm to even that golden child. I'm going to talk about that golden child, and you're going to realize how it's also going to affect the golden child. The golden child might be winning just to protect the dysfunctionality in the family, but later on it's going to affect them. It's the same as the scapegoat. Bruh, trauma responses doesn't mean, as much as you can cope with it, it doesn't mean that now that's going to be okay. It will reach a point whereby now it's going to pile up. It's going to pile up, and that coping won't work anymore. When you find yourself in a functional environment, you won't know how to deal with a functional family, because all you know, the normal that you know, is dysfunction. Here you are guilt-tripping a child that this child is a problem. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? This is not how our family behaves. What do you mean, what is wrong with you? Where did that child pick all that shit up? Bruh, children don't pick characters from anywhere other than from the environment they grow up in. Don't ever feel like now this child or your child, if your child behaves in a funny way, don't ever feel like this child picked this character from somewhere. Don't ever guilt trip your child that they picked this character from somewhere. They picked that character from within. So when you are asking a child what's wrong with you, this is not how our family is, you're really making that child feel like they're actually a problem. They don't belong to this family, as in, why the fuck am I like this? You know, the real question is what happened to you? That is what you should be asking a scapegoat child, not what's wrong with you. Never ask your child what's wrong with you, especially if maybe they've done something wrong. Don't ask them what's wrong with you. Ask them what happened to you. This goes to the scapegoat. If you're a scapegoat, I want you to realize that your reactions were basically valid. You are not a problem. You are not troublesome. It is the environment you grew up in that was the problem. It is the environment that you grew up in that was troublesome. My people, heal. Heal so that you don't guilt trip yourself. Heal so that you don't stay there blaming other people or still blaming maybe your parents for however you turned up. Bro, that shit already happened. As I said yesterday, our parents did whatever they did with the information they had. Now, the best way you can do is forgive them and move on. Just at least know that you were not a problem. My people, heal. Heal and be self-aware. Heal so that you know that everything you did was very valid. It was a mirror to the environment you grew up in. My people, heal.